Hi, everyone. I'm Mike Donnelly with Barrier Free Contractors, and this is the Accessible Barrier Free Homes channel combined with the Accessing My Home podcast. We're speaking and collaborating with some of the best experts in the mobility world, advocating and promoting fantastic accessibility solutions for those with mobility challenges. Today, we're going to speak with Chuck Vollmer, owner of 101 Mobility in Sarasota, an expert on many exceptional products and services in the mobility industry. Chuck, thanks for doing this with us today.
Pleasure. Glad to see you again.
Well, it's always my pleasure. All right, so let's do this. How about today you give us your expertise on ceiling hoists and what they can do for some of our challenged friends?
Yeah, typically you're using the word ceiling hoist. We in our profession and in a lot of cases, customers call us and they're dealing with ceiling lifts. They're one and the same. And what the product does is enable us to install tracks in the ceilings throughout various rooms in one's home that enable a disabled person to be lifted by way of a powder motor and sling, much like what some people call a Hoyer lift if you're dealing with a floor model portable, and lift that person from their bed to a chair or from their bed to their bathroom or to other rooms in the house. It's a complex system. It's a great deal of installation work, but it allows somebody that really has literally no mobility to be transported throughout the home safely, especially for those that need bedroom to bathroom help, where we can install ceiling lifts that allow us to take that individual from their bed, perhaps directly to a shower chair, and accomplish everything the caregiver needs to do safely. So ceiling lifts, very interesting product. There's multiple vendors that do this product, but you know, it's really a lot of installation and a modicum of construction that, Mike, I know you can speak to because we work together on projects where you've done that aspect and part of the deal for us, so that we get it right.
You know, it was great, Chuck. We just did a job in Port Charlotte with you guys, you and Israel, you installing the ceiling lift, and we did the remodeling of the bathroom to create a rolling shower scenario. The way it was constructed was really interesting, and you guys did a great job. It's just the customer was extremely happy.
Yeah, that was an interesting installation. It shows you what imagination can do. It cut down on the ceiling track because we asked Mike to go through a wall right into the bathroom and into the shower instead of exiting the bedroom to the hallway, having to deal with multiple headers down a hallway, take them into the bathroom, and it really cut down on the cost of the lift substantially because we just didn't have to go as far. So you can get creative, but the ceiling hoist / ceiling lift is a very interesting product. There are also some combinations off of that where we can just do, if it's a one room solution, we can go wall to wall with the track. And there are others called gantry systems that operate just like a ceiling lift, but they're basically meant to transport people from their bed to a chair. It's a one room solution. It doesn't have you exiting the bedroom, for example, to go down a hall to go to a bathroom. So there's variations of the ceiling lift, depending on the need, depending on the solution you're trying to provide, that simplify this and make it a lot easier from an installation standard, which of course means that the cost is reduced substantially. And that's the key. We want to provide the solution, but we also want to look at the fact that there's budgets involved in this, and we have to get creative, and we have to use all of the alternatives in the patient lift and ceiling lift market in order to make it work for most people. So there are these variations. It does come, as Mike is better off explaining than me, where you're going to be dealing with ceiling fans, you're going to be dealing with lights, you're going to be dealing with air conditioning. There's things up there in the ceiling that have to perhaps be moved. That's what I'm talking about. It isn't as simple as just putting a track on a ceiling and thinking you're done. I mean, that might happen rarely where you don't have something, but usually there's something that you're moving around or taking care of when you deal with this kind of a product.
Well,
Yeah.
I can tell you, there's almost, I don't think we've ever run into a scenario that we haven't been able to solve. All those impediments, you move, you figure out a way to make it work. Bottom line is
Right.
you take care of the client to find a way to make life better for them and their
Yeah,
caregivers.
that's right. And the product, and there's also the ability in that world. What we're doing a lot of right now is one motor and portable. So we put a track up in one room that solves a problem. We put a track up separately in a different room, and the motor is transportable from one room to the next. It's very lightweight, under 20 pounds, and it works on each track. So instead of running this wild amount of different ceiling track that could be very complicated as an installation, we put up tracks in separate rooms and just transport the motor. And I say we, I'm talking about the caregiver, because that's the person too that everybody has to remember here when they're doing this. It's about the patient, but it's also about the caregiver. That person's got to get that person out of the bed, get them to
Oh,
the
yeah.
chair, get them into the shower, get them out of the shower, dry and clean and dress, get that person to the living room or whatever area of the house they want to share. So again, there's multiple ways. And so a creative way is, track some of the rooms and transport the motor that guides the patient lift. And doesn't cost any more really. The motor, the ported motor on a ceiling lift that handles the sling is lightweight. And by the time you reduce the cost of the tracks, it's a pretty fair way of approaching the solution.
Well, I got to tell you, Chuck, this has been very informative, and it's something people need to hear. So I thank you for bringing your expertise on ceiling hoists and ceiling lifts to us today. It's good stuff. And to those of you who thought this was a great value to you, I'd love for you to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell you're going to see to receive our new videos as they get posted. Hey, Chuck, thanks a bunch. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.